So, there's a couple of things that come to me about your experience. And one is people hate the experience of doing boot camps, military or whatever. And at the time they suffer and then they're never happy. But you know what? They always talk about it proudly.
Yep.
Nobody bashes those days. They all talk about it proudly. Number one. Number two, it almost like the life kind of puts you from one place to the other, and then you go with it, and you don't know at the time, you're just running with it, and you don't actually know that, you don't realize, at least, that you are actually being conditioned for something. And what I'm hearing from you is you have been conditioned to be in this space where you're dealing, and look what we're talking about. We're talking about margins and how to truly calculate. You've been conditioned all your life to manage the numbers for survival, right? That's ultimately what Amazon is about.
This is a true story. My mother-in-law was friends with the JanSport rep. Okay. I got in contact. He was looking for somebody, but not at the time. So I was for some reason early on, I was really infatuated with computers, and I was pretty decent at computers, and I liked it. I liked all the technical stuff. So for 2.5 years, this is true, I would call him every month. Back time we didn't have cell phones. I would leave a voicemail, and I bugged him. I was friendly, but I was pleasantly persistent. And finally, he learned from my mother-in-law in a conversation in a parking lot that I was good with computers. And he goes, great. Can he do all these Excel spreadsheets for me and everything for his business? So for the next 1.5 years, I did all that while I was working at the laundry company and doing all this other stuff. And then finally he hired me. That leads to, in 2004, I'm working at JanSport. I get the big call up, Nick, to North Face. At the time, they are giants. And I was learning in key account management. So I'm going to be the guy. I'm the key account manager for REI, which is a ginormous business for North Face. Okay. I do that. And all of a sudden I am into the analytics. I'm into the point of sale information. I am just digging all this stuff. And they're like, oh, you love all this stuff. Then flash forward to, I was working for Columbia Sportswear. Amazon came in, and I was super interested in it. I was just nerdy enough. And that is why we got brands. Then I started my own, I partnered with an agency, and I said, we got to take all these brands to Amazon. This is 2006, early 2006. And that, thank goodness for that moment, because then I created a whole Amazon agency, division of our agency, all of that stuff. If I wouldn't have gotten interested in that, you wouldn't be talking to me today. Yeah. So I complain and bitch and moan about Amazon more than anybody every day. But you know what? It has given me a tremendous living, a phenomenal life. And it's because I had that one interest back in the day. I was just nerdy enough to go, I love data and I love people. And if I could put those together, it turned out, and I had an idea this Amazon thing was going to be pretty big.
Well, listen, things happen for a reason. And you just have to, I learned, I tell you a quick story of mine. I'm looking to get into college, and then where I grew up in Turkey, there's a centralized exam, and you have to take it. 500,000 people those days took it every year, and only 50,000 could get it, because not everybody can go to, there's no room, there's no class, university, whatever. So anyway, I studied for 1.5 years. And the day after the test, now I'm a high school graduate, just took the exam. I don't know what's going to happen, whether I'm going to get into college and blah. And there is nothing in my life, completely empty. And I started to become depressed, and I started to question how well I did. And I was one of the top students, and I started to question, oh my God. So as soon as I came out of the exam, And they asked me, how did you do? I said, oh, great. I did great on this. Great. I'm going to do great. And then the doubt started to sink in. And my grandfather and I had a special relationship. And he said to me, listen, don't worry. Nobody else could have studied harder than you did.
Yeah.
You have no regrets, no matter what. So I took that to heart. And to this day, whatever I'm pursuing, I put in 100% because I don't want to look back and say, I wonder if I had done this, would I have had this, and should I have, or would I don't want to play that what if game. So I put in 110% into whatever I'm doing, whether it's podcast, people I meet, Amazon, you name it. And you know what? When you do that, things come your way.
Absolutely.
At least whatever is potentially able to come your way will come your way, and then you will catch it. And that's what looks like you've done. So these stories are great stories, and I love
not
hearing.
to I again, it's easy to listen to this and think, oh wow, but I had a lot of rough issue times, and I hit bottom a couple times with my own business. And so don't think that you hear this guy and, oh God, he worked for these big brands and blah blah blah. No, there were deep valleys I got myself into, various points, and had to pull myself out. I'm very grateful.
Well, great stories.